How you doing, YouTube squad? Welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. Thank you guys so much for all the support that I've received from a lot of you. I'm doing a lot better. My body's, I guess, slowly returning back to normal. My HCG levels are going back to normal. Baby's, I guess, whatever baby that was there, or that dot that was in my belly, is just basically getting itself out. And I find myself in situations where I blame people. I was angry at God. I was angry at everybody. Hell, my family was telling me, as much as I take care of everybody, my friends, my family, my siblings, and the people that I care about, and my husband, the kids that we have together by marriage, there is no way in hell that I'm not meant to be a mother, because I'm a nurturer. So I'm hoping that, this is just, I've heard some of you say that you guys have gone through miscarriages and you've given me your own insight, and they've been very helpful, Some of y'all said that you've had 4 miscarriages and then had a kid. I hope that that's not my portion, because I really don't want to go through that emotional strain. But I do understand that this is a natural thing that happens. But thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into it. Marriage Medicine. This is Marriage Medicine Season 8, Episode 4 review. Home Court Advantage. Now, before I do this review, I do have a question for y'all. I have been following the Derek Jackson hot mess, and I've been trying not to speak on it, because I know that if I spoke on it, there's some things that I might say that might just hit home for certain people. Now that Peter Guns and Rich Dollars then come up and join the conversation, I'm almost tempted to go and do a review on the entire ordeal, from the moment that he fixed his mouth and tried to say that he's, he knows he's not perfect and he's perfectly imperfect, but the Bible is the one that's perfect and he's going to let the Bible fix him. I was like, the fuck? And then that woman with the bonnet sitting next to him holding his hand while he's saying some buffoonery. Girl, she better than me. But I was going to talk about it, including the mistress coming out and probably a bunch of other mistresses that he had going on. I was going to relay it to what's his name from Real Housewives of Potomac and her little Giselle and her stupid ass dating that idiot pastors. I am sick of pastors who are in certain profession coming out and having all this crazy ass shit going on. Some professions can have people who are that imperfect to where you're actually habitually being unfaithful to your wife. It's not a mistake, it's a pattern. So I was going to talk about it and make it in great detail and talk about everything that I saw, but let me know if y'all want me to do it, because all I'm thinking about doing is Marriage Medicine, Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Michael, Simone's son, is off to college while Miles is still finishing up his gap year that he took from school, because he wanted to make sure that maybe he's find out if school's really for him, or maybe figure out what his career path is going to be. I know some people who first start college end up doing that type of stuff, trying to find themselves, because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they just feel like, well, my parents told me all my life I'm supposed to go to school. I'm here now. What the hell am I doing? Like, do I have a goal? Do I have a plan? Do I have anything? So Michael, on his way with this full basketball scholarship, is about to go to Racistville to go and play basketball in that area. And I hope that he is safe, because I like Michael's personality. Michael's personality is just like Simone. That boy is funny as hell. Because Simone sitting in the car talking about, you're going to have to talk to your dad and make sure that he gives me the hug and kisses that you were supposed to give me when you're gone. And he's looking at Simone like, good luck. And I just started rolling, because he's right. Good luck. Because we can even get, what's his name? What's his dad's name? Simone's husband's name? Cecil, to so much as call her and tell her that he missed her way back when they were trying to go through a divorce. We can even get him to say that, let alone give her a hug and a kiss. And she said that she's stingy with her puss whenever she don't have money in her bank account. So he wouldn't even get some ass then. So I don't know how that situation is going to work. Then, they decide that they're going to have a basketball family thing where it's parents versus kids. And Michael brings up inviting Jackie, and Simone is a little bit skeptical about inviting Jackie. Do I think that it's fair that if Simone is genuinely trying to rebuild her friendship with Jackie, that she's excluding her from certain things that Jackie has been part of her entire life? That is a 20-year friendship that they've had. It is the saddest thing to watch, because Simone is saying they don't even call each other on the phone anymore. This girl delivered your baby, Michael included, and he's an adult about to go off to college, and she is not being involved in this child's life when she has been involved in his life forever. It is so hard to see such a friendship like that break up, and I think that Heavenly is the culprit. I don't care what anybody says, Heavenly is the culprit. That woman does not have a good spirit. I like that she married Damon, because Damon balances out her kids, but Heavenly is not a nice person to me. She is mean, she's a bully, and she has a very wicked spirit. Her name is not Heavenly, she is Devilly. That's how I see her, and I don't care what anybody says, that's how she acts. Then we have Anila and Dr. Karen showing their parents their house that they're building. It's supposed to be their dream home. This is how Anila and Toya met. They were building their house together while Toya's house is up the market for sale. Anila and her husband are building theirs, and they solicited the same contractor to help build their home. Now they're showing Anila's parents what they're planning on doing for their dream home. But mom, Anila's mom is just as annoying as my mama. Extremely opinionated even when the opinion is not solicited or asked for, and making it loud enough to where the entire world, people across the street, down the street, over the next country can hear that you don't like something, even if it has nothing to do with you. It's supposed to be Karen and Anila's designs for the home. Instead, mom is running around screaming about change this. It has to be marble. What'd she say? The ceiling has to be high enough. The guest room needs the balconies. Not enough. She wants high ceilings. She wants, there has to be multiple kids' playroom because, you know, the kids can't seem to walk upstairs to the one playroom. They have to be multiple up and down the stairs. It's basically, it's not necessarily a necessity, some of the stuff that they're building. It's just a matter of let's see how much money you have type situation. And she keeps talking about all the houses and how big of a mansion they had in India. I'm like, Indian currency and dollar and American currency are two very different things, just like Nigeria. I can take, what, $30,000-$40,000 in some areas, go to Nigeria and build me a big ass house, but come over here and try to do that shit in US, bitch, it costs money. So for her to be saying all that and comparing the two, don't make any sense, but I get what she was trying to do. She wanted to input her opinion. And when you can tell that Dr. Karen does not see it for Anila's mom, I don't know, he comes up to me as very disrespectful with some of the things that he says. From the moment that she set foot in the house, he didn't seem like he was even welcoming, like he didn't want her there. That's how he acts. Possibly because of how opinionated Anila's mom is why he has such an opinion the way that I want to see how his parents behave and see if he would appreciate it if Anila talked about to his parents like she's been treating her parents. Let's see how he acts. But Anila decides to address her mom. And her mom says that whatever is wrong, that she's going to tell it. And then the dad decides to talk to Anila on the side. And I got some perspective. Maybe this is why mom's acting the way that she's acting. Dad says, you know, I'm 76 years old. I'm going to die soon, or soon enough. At least one of us is going to have to go, which means that if I pass away, somebody's going to have to take care of your mother. And which means that she's going to have to come live with you. And I'm just like, whoo, Dr. Karen is going to have a heart attack having Anila's mom live in that house. She will not hush up for anything. She might just come into their marital bed and start giving them instructions on what they're supposed to do in that bed. That's how opinionated her ass is. But he mentions it, and in my culture as Nigerians, you do not send your family to a group home. There's no such thing as a huge embarrassment. That your family, your parents, especially your mama, she wiped your ass when you were a baby. So when she gets old, you better take her into your house and do whatever is necessary to take care of her. When my parents used to tell me growing up, I used to be like, Dad, why y'all forcing us to do all this stuff and talking about how much money we're going to need to make the life? Because kids are an investment. We expect y'all to take care of us in our old age when we're withered and can't do it no more. Or maybe if we have Alzheimer's or dementia or, God forbid, high blood pressure or diabetes or something, we expect y'all to take care of us. So you need to have enough money to take care of you, your kids, and extra for us. So I understand the dynamic of having money and what Anila's mom is trying to create. But at the same time, you had your dream home, Anila's mom, when you were in your house. This is Dr. Karen and Anila's house. This is their dream home. When you get old and you can't take care of yourself, you will be moving into their house. They'll make space for you, make it comfortable, but you can't tell them how to build their own house. That's just what it is. So this scene ends, and then they show Dr. Jackie, who's dealing with a mother who induced her pregnancy by masturbation, causing the orgasm was just so good that her baby just had to go ahead and come out. Either the baby just was like, I don't want to sit here no more, watch my mama do this, or her little contractions just caused, or her little, I guess the orgasm was so heavy that the baby just started contracting themselves. And I'm thinking, this is a natural way to induce a baby. If anybody told me that I can induce a baby just by masturbating, shit, I would do it every single day. You don't need to put drugs in my system. I will make this baby come out however you need. Just give me the tools and the equipment. I'll make it happen. But to hear this scene and watch this woman had masturbated her way into her pregnancy or her birth, I couldn't stop laughing. It was the funniest thing I've ever heard. But we get to Toya and Eugene in a tub because Toya did something romantic because she wanted to spend some time with Eugene, which I thought was sweet. Is the least she could do as much as she been a bitch to him. Then another thing I was wondering is how the hell they fit in that bathtub. As big as Eugene is, I was wondering how the hell both of them fit in that damn bathtub. But they got in, and I thought Eugene is a saint for tolerating Toya because he takes this moment to now address Toya's snap and rudeness and her running her mouth whether she's drunk or not and how she speaks to people because Toya feels like if I can talk to my husband crazy, I can talk to anybody. And Eugene has spent years and years and years tolerating it. At some point, he's going to get mad at her and not want to deal with it. I'm still wondering how the hell he's still with her and haven't left her because she's a stay-at-home mom. She's not contributing anything. Even now that she has to be here to take care of the kids during the pandemic, she's still complaining about it. Eugene has given her everything but the heavens itself. He bought her whatever house he had to buy her. When they went into tax debt, he worked around the clock as an ER doctor. I think he's an ER doctor, I forgot, to make sure that he supports his family as any reasonable man would. But in Toya's behavior. If you have a man who will move mountains for you, why do you talk to him the way that you do? Why do you not listen to him when he's talking to you? Because her instinct is to just be like, it's not that serious, it's not that bad, stop whining, you're just being this. And Eugene is talking to her calmly, explaining to her that she has been going overboard in the way that she addresses people. And then he also says that the way that you talk to me sometimes is not cool. You can give me your opinion, but it's the way that you do it. You're supposed to do it with love. I'm your husband, not your enemy. So if you have something wrong, articulate it in a way that makes me feel loved. I don't know if Toya is doing it because she feels like Eugene can't get better than her. I don't know, but the way that Toya treats Eugene from the moment she get on this season, at first I was excusing it because I thought maybe they understood each other, but I think that as the fame got to her head, so has her mouth. And I think it's gotten worse over the seasons to the point where Eugene is getting fed up. At some point, he might just cuss her ass out and go off on her because she's doing the actual most. Then we get to next scene. And Eugene did make sure to let her know that verbal abuse is a thing in a marriage. So you talking to me crazy is a form of abuse. So make sure that you learn to speak to me the right way as a man and as your husband and as a father of your kids. Then we get to Heavenly's house with her son Zachary, who is very handsome, by the way. He is a pre-med student at 19 years old, but he's also recently got his real estate license and he's looking to invest in property. And Heavenly was right. Generational wealth is something that you should discuss with your kids. And if real estate is one of the best ways to go, because properties in certain areas, especially in Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York, they will always appreciate, minus COVID, they will always appreciate, especially in DC. So if you own land or if you own, some kind of property, you can expand your wealth and you can pass it on to your kids and you can create generational wealth. And that's a wonderful thing, especially from an African-American family, to instill in their kid. So they're talking about that, and Heavenly decides to bring up the Black Lives Matter conversation that Anila and her had. And while I understand Anila saying all lives matter and that she is a brown person is the same as her and that she has experienced some of the most racist things that you can experience, having moved from India here and having gone through a lot of things that she's gone through. At the end of the day, Anila, I have to be very honest with you because you have to educate yourself. I don't want to keep educating people. If a law enforcement officer saw you as light brown as you are and saw me as dark brown as I am, and they were in a store and they were going to assume that somebody stole, the person that they're going to choose is not you. So, and on top of that, you migrating here from India is different from African Americans who've lived in this country, whose ancestors have been dealing with the same bullshit. I have people, grandparents who are still alive today that remember crossing the street when a white person was walking down the street. They remember Jim Crow era. They remember signs that said whites only. They remember not being allowed to use the same bathroom. These are things that were instilled by law. What you're experiencing, Anila, are just ignorance from human beings. It's not law supported. People calling you names because you're being Indian, because you're Indian. I've gone through that. People calling me names because I'm African, or because I had an accent, or because my culture and the way that I understand things is not considered cool. I've been made fun of by people, and I've had people in the stores tell me, oh my gosh, we accept EBT when I'm giving them my debit card, as if it's just the stereotype of what they think African Americans are supposed to be and how you're supposed to live your life. I've heard it all. But when it comes to certain things like what Georgia is doing right now, trying to instill laws to prevent a lot of Democratic African Americans from being able to access voting easily, a human right, or mass incarceration, it's not something that you as an Indian person is experiencing in this country to the extent that it is. Yes, I understand all lives matter, child, but it won't matter until they fix something that we've been trying to get them to fix for over 400 years. That is the point that she's trying to make. But I know something about Heavenly. When somebody does something that ticks off Heavenly, Heavenly doesn't necessarily address the person head on. Heavenly looks at ways to pick at the person instead of actually saying, when you said this, it bothered me. When you did this, it bothered me. And now that Anila has triggered her, Heavenly will definitely start targeting Anila. And I'm going to tell you guys when she starts doing that at the end of this episode. Now, I did make this very clear that I am not a history teacher. I am not here to educate you. Educate your damn self. I can speak facts, but if you yourself don't understand what, your own facts, you need to be quiet. Don't come to me and expect me to argue with you when your facts are limited and mine are correct. You can't argue with somebody unless you have all the facts you need to argue. You can't go into a courtroom and argue a case without having the facts with you and then expect the judge to listen to you. I'm not going to hear you. Make sure that you understand what's going on before you fix your mouth and talk to me about, Black Lives Matter, all lives. I don't want to hear that shit. Now, Anila and Contessa meet up at the park, and Anila decides to go ahead and try to find, I feel like Anila with Contessa is looking for a problem. Even though she tries to act like she's not looking for a problem, she's looking for a problem because she's friends with Toya. She inserted herself in a drama that did not involve her in any way, shape, or form, and now she's complaining about the result because she meets up with Contessa and says something like, I felt like you were disrespectful in my house. Bitch, bye. Contessa tried to leave and your mom got in her way. She tried to excuse herself from being disrespectful in an environment that she's not supposed to be in because it wasn't healthy for her. You and your family got up and tried to force her to stay. This is what I say when I do my reviews. If I'm about to get into a fight with somebody, and you get into in front of me, in front of that fight, and you just so happen to get hit in the process, you deserve to punish yourself for getting hit, not me. Contessa was trying to leave. Y'all got up in her face trying to force her to stay, and now you want to say that she's being disrespectful when she tried to remove herself from having an argument in front of your parents with Toya, who's not friends with her, who you brought in her face and inserted yourself in their drama. You're reaching, bitch. And then she now realizes that Contessa is not going to go with that bull. Then she says something like, well, in our culture, it's disrespectful if you live without finishing your dinner. Well, in my culture, it's disrespectful for you to have somebody in my face that's not my friend and then try to bring up our issues in front of your parents and try to get us to work it out when you have just been here none but a minute. You don't know the extent of our drama. You have no right to even insert yourself in this situation. Now, that's disrespectful. So Contessa did do what I wouldn't do. She apologized to her because she was just fishing for something, just to be nice. Contessa's trying to be nice to this heifer who's trying to create a problem because she's friends with Toya. Mind your business. Anila's pissing me off. Where's Mariah? Now we have everyone meeting up to play the kids versus adults basketball. But as they're meeting up, Miles and Michael show up with their friend Jace and Cecil to play. And Laura comes walking down she comes walking down. Immediately you see Michael's face look at her like he just saw a dream. Laura is very beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. She's a very beautiful girl. And Heavenly's looking at him like, yo, I'm having a hard time getting along with your mama. There is no way that we can be in-laws. Please stay away from my baby. Because me as a mom, that's the same thing I would do. Stay away from my baby. Because you know Michael is growing and he is handsome. He's grown up to be a nice, handsome guy who has a full scholarship, about to get his life together. Laura and Michael can really get together and really build something special, but not yet. So Heavenly's looking at him like, look away. Okay, keep your eyes there, not my baby. Then Anila and Karen show up with two little ass kids, and I'm wondering what basketball game is these kids gonna play. They're too little, they're too small. You got her son running around away from this little ass dog. There is nothing that can contribute to this situation, but it's nice that you brought them anyway. Then we got Big Papa Curtis showing up. Big Papa looks like Shaq to me from the back. As big as he is, he may not be as tall, but he's pretty up there. He comes in, shows up to support Michael because he's been supporting all of Michael's basketball games, even the one where he didn't even have a basketball game. He called him, he showed up, he said, Michael, I'll never forgive you for it, but you know he's just playing. So he has a good relationship. It shows you the extent of years that Jackie and Simone has under their belt, to the extent that Curtis has been in Michael's games for so long and now he's an adult leaving. I hope they can fix their friendship. I truly do. Then we had Daddy Damon in the corner with his purple shirt, really out there balling. Daddy Damon don't want no drama. He's out there having fun like he's supposed to. Toya then decides to bring her nurse practitioner friend Shania and Shania to the basketball game. And Heavenly's looking at her like, why are you bringing stray bitches to my thing during COVID, during the pandemic? First of all, why she got to be a stray? But Heavenly's ass called her a stray bitch. I'm like, damn, Heavenly, is it for real? Like she's a dog or something? Anyway, Anila decides that she wants to go talk to Toya. While Toya's over there complaining about forks and spoons and how Heavenly wasn't able to afford everything or wasn't able to bring everything. And then Anila decides to talk to Toya off in the corner and brings up Contessa again. She tells her that Contessa apologized, but she felt like the apology was sincere. Toya not being present, it's like, I don't think that it's real. I don't think it's real. But then messy ass Anila keeps going. She didn't stop there. Toya did not ask this girl anything about Contessa. Did you meet her? Did you talk to her? She walks up and she keeps bringing up Contessa's name. She has Contessa's name in her mouth all the time, and I feel like she's a shit starter. Anila is coming off to me as a shit starter. She's talking to Toya about somebody that she don't like, and she's saying something like, you know, I felt like Contessa meant well, and then she said something like Contessa tried to bring up Toya to her. That was a bull-faced lie. When Anila met up with Contessa, Anila brought up Toya and kept saying, you know, she and I are friends. I just wanted you guys to make it work. Doing that whole fake, let me fix the friendship bullshit, right? She brought up Toya. But the way that Anila is talking to Toya, she's making it seem like Contessa is the one that keeps being so obsessed about Toya. And Toya feeling herself saying, I don't know why this girl keeps bringing me up. Based on what Anila is telling her, you can still see this girl is lying through your face. This is why I don't like Anila. I don't know why I don't like Anila. Bravo, why did you replace Mariah with Anila? We don't like Anila. Yeah, she seems like a decent girl, but not for this damn show. Please take her messy ass out and put somebody that we like on this show. Hell, bring back Lisa Nicole. But please remove this girl. She's irking my spirit. I don't like her. I don't like her in place of Mariah. Where is Mariah? Anila is getting on my damn nerves. Then we have The game begins and everybody starts enjoying themselves. The kids were getting it together, whooping their ass. Heavenly decides to go and try to make up some points because she didn't want to lose, even though the parents lost miserably. All the kids beat their ass. Michael was out there shooting. A lawyer was keeping the score. They lost. But after the game was over, the men decide to leave. And then Lila goes, Karen, can you take the kids with you, please? She tells Karen that. And then Heavenly turns to her because now Anila is on her bad side and it says something like, that's your job. You don't work. Why is your man the one taking the kids? That's supposed to, he's a whole surgeon. You're supposed to take the kids. Heavenly, mind your damn business. Heavenly, worry about your damn marriage and worry about daddy and daddy alone. Heavenly does not have a right to look at Anila and tell Anila what she and her husband are supposed to do with their kids. That is her being a bitch. And she's being a bitch because Anila said something about Black Lives Matter that she does not like. But instead of addressing Anila and saying what you said was highly ignorant, this is not your fight. Everybody wants to be black when it's time to be black. But when it comes time to fight for black folk, you want to now say, well, I'm brown. I deal with this too. That's what she's trying to say. Instead of Heavenly addressing that with Anila, Heavenly decided to go ahead and find ways to pick at her to get her out her frustration instead of dealing with the problem at hand. So she says some shit like that. Anila's like, I work. I'm a blogger. Heavenly is like, I don't know, bloggers make money. Then she says something to Toya like, Toya, why didn't your ass start blogging? And I'm just like, God damn, Heavenly. Toya is on Heavenly's bad side. Anila is on Heavenly's bad side. She's going to keep picking at them until her frustration gets fed up. Because Heavenly is a bully and she'll bully whoever it is instead of actually saying how she really feels inside. Then now Toya has decided to go ahead and argue with Heavenly in defense of Anila. And I'm still wondering how the hell Daddy has lasted this long with Heavenly's ass. But then Toya gets in and they start arguing. And Heavenly's messy ass decides to bring up Quad. This is the problem I have with Heavenly. Heavenly deliberately had that tape recording on, she had it on deck for Quad to make sure that Quad started looking at Toya as an enemy because Heavenly has now sized up Toya as an enemy because of Toya, what all the shit Toya said to her drunk in her house. But when she brings up Quad and brings up everything to Toya, it's almost like she baited her. First, they start talking about money. Toya's like, I got the closet, you got the three-story closet. I got the fireplace, you got the fireplace. They start comparing income. As usual, they're comparing income. Heavenly does not respect Toya. She's made that very clear in previous seasons. Now that money comes up, Heavenly decides to bring up Quad and what Quad told her about Toya's, I think she said she took a $100,000 loan to build a pool in addition to them having the loan for the house itself that they were trying to build, the one that's on the market right now. And I'm like, okay, what Heavenly didn't say was that she baited Quad. Before Quad said anything, even though Quad shouldn't even be talking about anything about Toya and Eugene's financial business, she shouldn't even say nothing. However, Quad felt like Toya had gone on, did an interview and was speaking about Quad in her apartment and bringing up her financial issues. So Quad, in retaliation to what Heavenly had showed her because she felt like Toya was talking shit, decided to now talk shit about Toya. Heavenly is now taking it up to Toya as a way to pick at her, saying we should get Quad because Quad said this, and this. She failed to mention why I showed Quad the video of you talking shit about her, so she was responding to me. Heavenly and Anila are doing the same thing, omitting pertinent information to get a certain reaction out of somebody. This is why I don't think that Heavenly is a genuinely nice person. I don't care. I don't know who the hell thought that Heavenly was a good name to name her. Maybe they thought she would be the polar opposite of what she is. It was supposed to be a pun, or it was supposed to be a metaphor. We'll call her Heavenly even though we know she ain't. But I don't know why they gave her that name, because that woman acts more like the devil himself than an actually heavenly person. I don't know what Damon sees. Maybe Damon, she acts like a damn angel. She does everything Damon wants. She'll bend over, suck his dick like she said, because Damon likes it when she puts it in his mouth. She'll do everything to make Damon, hell, she tracked him, as she said, to keep that man because he's a good man. He's the only one that could balance out her spirit with the kids. But Heavenly is not nice. So she brings that up to Quad. Quad now gets mad, talking about, I don't know why the hell, Quad could even say something about my money situation. She, again, talking about my finances again. Then Contessa had already left, and she's over there with the man having a whole peaceful conversation. I didn't want to deal with this. Anila decides to pipe in now that Toya has piped up and try to defend Toya or defend herself and say, you brought up, you're downing me being a blogger, bitch. You're a blogger, so be it. Oh, well, be a blogger. But at the end of the day, Heavenly decides that she wants to now throw the Black Lives Matter incident into her face. And Anila starts talking, I have my own experiences. I don't want to down her experiences. I'm just saying, as an Indian living in Savannah, Georgia, and people not wanting to wait on us. I've gone through some shit. Bitch, we're talking about people being killed by law enforcement officers in the middle of the street, begging for their mama. Some of them just sitting there in the park, not doing nothing. People been having people on their neck, kneeling on their neck, or people just randomly dying in police custody. This is the type of shit we're talking about. People being hunted down in their homes, no-knock warrants being, happening. All people having to sue to get some kind of money for you ending a family member's life. We're talking about being racially profiled. We're talking about the stop and frisk situation. We're talking about the school systems in the areas that we live in. We're talking about the fact that there's always a liquor store and a smoke shop in our neighborhood and some dreadful ass school systems. We're talking about how they just hoard our neighborhoods with law enforcement officers. We're talking about how we get longer prison sentences than people who don't look like us. We're talking about how there are other crimes that people outside of our race commit, but they get a slap on the wrist and we're sitting up there behind bars, our fathers, our sons, our children just sitting behind bars, wasting away their youth, making money for this system because they're using them for slave labor. We're talking about how during the crack epidemic, we were labeled as criminals, where so now we have the meth and the heroin and the fentanyl epidemic, and it's a disease on their end because it's happening to their children now. This is what we're discussing, Heifer, for you to fix your mouth and say something like, they didn't wait on me at a restaurant. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Now I'm just gonna leave that alone. Then Toya decides to yell at Heavenly and telling her, Toya decides to yell at Heavenly. Heavenly decides to tell her that her and Anila needs to go ahead and come back and clean up because they don't have a job. They're the only two that don't have a job. They need to come and clean up after people. Heavenly is highly disrespectful. It is not your business. If Anila and Toya don't decide to work and their husband married them to be a stay-at-home wife, stop being jealous. I feel like Heavenly's jealous. She feel like she could have just stayed home and Daddy could just work for her and she could just be like Toya and Anila going around spending money and doing whatever the hell they want to do. It's out of jealousy. That's why Heavenly picks at Toya all the time for being a stay-at-home mom. It's not necessarily that she thinks Toya is that stupid, because Toya says some stupid shit sometimes, but Toya is not dumb herself. Toya is highly intelligent. She is educated. She's just a stay-at-home mom. And I think that Heavenly is either jealous of her or doesn't respect her. Y'all tell me what you think, but Heavenly always talks about her, and it always goes back to, you don't work, you don't work, you don't work, you don't work. It's jealousy to me. Then we have the episode ending, and they show the next time Lisa Nicole is finally come back via Toya, because Toya is inviting every stray, as Heavenly put it, to come back to the show. And then I'm thinking at the same time, because Toya said that she's kept in contact with Lisa Nicole, I'm like, Lisa, did Toya say that your husband is called your husband a gay ass husband while she was gay bashing him when he came out saying that some guy came out saying that they would been having an affair, and he had to defend himself in addition to all the cheating that he has done, and now you and Toya are cool? Nobody on this earth would disrespect any member of my family and we will ever be cool. Maybe I'm the type of person that holds grudges, but I have Cardi B spirit in that area. We will have beef forever. No way in hell. There are certain lines with me you don't cross. Don't come from my kids. Don't come from my husband. And you're damn sure don't come from my family. Anything else is fair game. You can call me all sorts of names you want, so I can take it. But the moment you cross that line and go for somebody I love, we will never have peace. I will be in the same room with you, but we will not speak. We will not nothing. You will be Switzerland to me, and you better not come to my face. We will never be friends. I can forgive, but I will never forget. I'll forgive you. Now go be friends with somebody else. Don't come around me. Don't even come around my spirit. Don't even be in my general area. Don't even breathe the same air as I breathe. I don't want to share oxygen with you, bitch. You said what you said. But now Lisa and Toya are besties for some reason, to where Lisa's now back in. And we thought Lisa's not going to come back because she was too scared about Damon's past coming back to haunt her over and over and over again. But Toya said something like she didn't leave, she was chased away, and probably because she was going to say Heavenly chased the ass away, and Quad chased the ass away. Then Contessa's 10-year failing relationship mess continues, and I'm just like, I'm sick of hearing this shit. Contessa, if you're that unhappy, leave the relationship, okay? Leave the relationship. You're a doctor, you make enough money. He's a doctor, he made enough money. If y'all make each other miserable that much, leave the relationship. But the way I see it is Contessa is holding on to everything from the moment that they met. I quit military because of him. I quit going to, doing the school thing because of him, the public health thing because of him. I had big dreams. I wanted to be the Secretary of the Navy or whatever the case is, and he made me quit because he didn't want to move. I did this for him. And she just has all these resentment from years and years and years and years and years. And she is not taking responsibility for anything, bitch. You made that decision yourself. He didn't force you. If a man came to you and said, you have to quit your career, otherwise I'm not going to be with you. If it's something that you really wanted to do and it's your heart, would be like, I'm so sorry, I love you very much, but I'm not going to give this up for you. And the fact that you can ask me to do this and you don't want to sacrifice something for me is a problem. I don't want to resent you forever, and I will just walk away. Instead, she left of her own choices, and now she's blaming him for that. You either have two choices. You've been married for 10 years. If you want to stay in this marriage, bitch, you're gonna need to let all of that go, hit the reset button. Y'all start dating again. Y'all start learning how to fall in love with each other again. Explain to him that you will forgive him and let all this baggage go, because that's something you've been holding on to, but that you want to start over. You want to get to know each other with a clean slate, and you want to have more sex. Sex in a 10-year marriage always helps. That man will not have time to be pissed off at you if he's getting some ass on a regular. I mean, for real, for real. You better get into that stage in your head. When y'all first met, you were in the honeymoon phase, and your jaws were hurting from all the efforts you were putting in. Your knees were hurting from all the kneeling you were doing. Your ass cheeks were hurting from all the slaps he was slapping. Get into that zone, girl, and get that man together and fix this marriage. Okay? This is what you need to do. All right, girl. Let me know what y'all think about this review. I will be doing Real Housewives of Atlanta, and tell me if you want me to talk about the Derek Jackson situation, because I have a whole lot of shit to say. God help me, because once I'm done, I don't think y'all will probably look at me like, oh my gosh, she needs prayer. She needs to repent. She needs to be blessed. Somebody needs to throw some holy water on her, because there's a lot I would need to say to that pastor of a man. Pastor Holy Whore. He's another one of those. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening, a wonderful day. Look out for my next review.